A great figure, the personality to back it up, able to swoon over any guy, has an incredible female seiyuu voicing them. But yes, Mei Kinosaki is actually a dude. Mei Kinosaki, by their admittance, is actually a dude. It is so funny, like, all the discussion around Marriagetoxin, a new series in the spring season, all the discussion I've seen so far is around the fact that people don't want to believe that Kinosaki is actually a dude. It's like, even though like the first segment of it is like, oh, don't worry about that, I'm actually a boy. I just dress up this way in order to con, men. You can do whatever. Hey, let's go take a shower together. Come on, bro. Everybody's like, no, it's not a thing. It's just that whole goofy thing that anime loves to do. And anime, manga, light novels, they just love having these characters that like, everything about them screams female. And again, they also have female seiyus that always voice these characters. But because the writers said so, they're actually a dude. I mean, he straight up like showed everything to Gero, the main character of the show. But no, Marriagetoxin, honestly, coming into the spring season, this was like one of those ones that was like, just barely like outside of the top 10 most anticipated shows for me. A show that like, based on the premise, wasn't like grabbing me. But after watching the first 4 episodes, I'm on board. And it's really around the fact that I love the main 2 duo. Like Gero and Kinosaki are just... their chemistry is kind of perfect. And it kind of sucks again to the whole like idea of the story is that he has to find a woman because his sister wants to be with a woman. He has to find a woman in order to carry on the bloodline. So you kind of want the whole Kinosaki Gero thing to work, but at the same time, it's not going to work. Their chemistry is so fantastic. It's doing very well to keep my interest in the show. That is otherwise just kind of like which power they're going to be fighting that week. Like each one of these bloodlines that have different sort of abilities, and how will Gero counter their abilities and take them down while protecting or rescuing somebody. That whole thing there. But let's get into the actual premise of the story. It opens up with a guy named Gero, and Gero is of a family bloodline of poison masters. Now, essentially different bloodlines, different families have all been crafting different what they call modified bloodlines, which are people that sort of craft a different art with different specific things. Gero's family is specifically poison. You have other ones that are like sound and water and whatnot. And apparently the poison mastery is like one of the top 5 families. But anyways, we see how Gero has sort of been, raised in the fact that his entire life he's been spinning behind like these one-sided mirrors to like watch and observe different families, to watch humans as they interact normally. His upbringing wasn't so normal. Like he always ate alone. He had to make his own meals because he had to make sure that he was never poisoned himself. And so most of his life he spent alone. Now cut forward, we see the result of that in the fact that, yes, he has no love life. He spends some time with his sister, and his sister does have somebody that she's interested in, but unfortunately they're female. And so she can't pass on the family bloodline. And it's sort of going on to Gero, but Gero's saying, no, I'm probably going to be single forever as well. Well, that's not good for the head of the family. They've decided to force Gero's sister to actually go have a, child and carry on the bloodline. Gero, learning this, decides, what, I don't want that to be forced upon my sister. I kind of like the idea of like having a family myself. I just seen my friend who I thought I would never, he would never get with somebody. He's found somebody. So I'm going to find somebody myself. And this is all happening while Gero is on a certain job at the time in order to take down a marriage swindler. And having this marriage swindler in front of him that he's kind of attracted to, he decides to tell this marriage swindler, hey, I got to get married. I want you to marry me and I'll save your life, which she doesn't agree. She's like, heck no, I'm not going to do that. Well, after some conversation, they kind of come to an agreement. See, this marriage swindler, she's doing all of the stuff that she's doing in order to pay for their brother's medical bills, like he's dying or whatever. And so Gero says, hey, if you at least help me find somebody, I'll protect you and I'll save your brother, to which they agree. And we ultimately, after that, find out that this marriage swindler isn't she, it's actually a dude. They basically dress themselves up to be a cute, hot girl if they're swindling a guy, or a boy if they're swindling a girl. But they're very, very good at their craft. They're good at swindling people. And that's exactly what Gero needs. So the two of them are working side by side in order to find him somebody to get married, which is very, very difficult because Gero's, again, social life is horrible. Like, most of his time is spent either alone, having dinner with his sister, or hanging out with his buddy who has like bugs coming out of him or something, who apparently found somebody. So yes, after a bunch of matchmaking and, using apps and whatnot, a couple of dates and whatnot, nothing's working out. Until eventually, this Kinosaki, the marriage swindler, he finally realizes that, yeah, Gero has sort of his own charm. Yeah, it's not in like how he looks or how he presents himself or his personality, which is, again, is kind of all kind of distorted and borked. Back when Gero saved Kinosaki's life, back when, all these guys wanted him dead, they seen a charm in that. So like, okay, rather than do all these ceremonies, let's have you do 2 different types of jobs. 1, rescuing people, or 2, bodyguard work. And during those process of doing those things, people will see that charm of you being, rescuing them and being brave and being super strong and very talented in that regard. Because yes, he's a poison master. He's very good at beating the crap out of people and poisoning them and taking them down. Which after that point, yes, we have our first job, which is to go rescue this Himikawa, which is this person that basically steals from people who steal from people. People that steal from the, disadvantaged, goes and steals the stuff back for them. Kind of like a Robin Hood, so to speak. And the second job is to protect a CEO's daughter, which is this girl that after their father's death, the aunt is trying to take over the family, and so they're trying to get her killed. So he's trying to protect her. And that's the premise of Marriagetoxin so far. My thoughts on the show, like I said before, most of my enjoyment from this show is around the main 2 characters, Gero and Kinosaki. Their chemistry is so damn perfect. And yes, a lot of it has to do with the fact that they kind of bounce off each other because Gero is extremely awkward and is horrible socially, whereas Kinosaki is like the ultimate social butterfly. Like, they're really good at connecting to people. They know how to read social cues. It's just the problem is, how do you communicate that to him, and how badly will he mess up trying to take that information? It's really what it is. Hey, Gero, here's your chance. Let's be friends. Ah, damn it. Hey, Gero, it's time to introduce yourself. Let me vomit. That was the worst one. Let me vomit my beer. We'll get in a minute. First things first, let's talk about the characters in sequence. Gero, yes, he's an awkward mess. I absolutely love how awkward he is. He's trying very hard. Again, like, he's been raised to never have social interactions. All he knows is his job to take down targets. He's really damn good at it. He's really good at it. Like, he essentially uses poisons to put himself to near death, and when he's near death, he's his most strongest. So he's constantly always injecting himself with stuff. And yes, he has toxins that completely screw up other people, which does sort of lead into how he's going to eventually, like, help people out in the end while not being a heinous, murderer. They point out early on that he doesn't kill, like, good people. He only takes down the scum of the earth. And how he does that, seemingly in all cases that we've seen, is the fact that he poisons them enough that they are traumatized. Like, he has this, like, torture poison that makes people hallucinate to horrible things and never want to touch that thing ever again. So you have this case where these people are stealing paintings. He poisons them, and the person sees hallucinations of the paintings coming after them, so they never want to touch a painting ever again. So he fixes people with poisons to scare them and sort of correct their bad ways. But yeah, he's very talented at what he does. But again, because he's been so isolated from people, he sucks at social interactions. And so now that leads up to, Kinosaki helping him. But I love the awkwardness of this character, and I think that's what makes him so charming, is because he's trying so hard. And there's times where he feels like he's confident, but he's messing up so badly. And the entire time Kinosaki's watching going, no. But it always kind of ends up in some way where he does make a good decision. Like, he's still a good dude in the end. Like, I root for him because he's such a cool guy, and that he has this personality and that desire within him that you kind of want to root for him. Like, he's just like, go boy, you could do this. He's really great. I really do. I do like his character and everything. There is an element that at the end of the day, he does sort of see that his new life is something that he likes. He wants to now interact with people. He likes when people that he's now saving are, thanking him. He likes that feeling of being thanked. He wants to help other people out. It's sort of changing him over time. On the opposite end, yeah, Kinosaki. Again, love the seiyuu, love the personality, just instantaneous fall in love. And yes, having the big reveal at the very end of, no, I'm actually a dude, so it's okay that you can carry me. It's cool. Hey, you want to come take a shower with me? Like, hey, you want to see? It's like at some point, it's like Kinosaki's like, I know it's hard to believe. Here, look at it. It's okay. Look, it's okay. It's okay. But no, I really like Kinosaki's personality and how, again, they sort of play off of Gero so very well. Seeing the social cues and relaying that information to him constantly and trying to help him out. In often cases being like sort of the straight man of the comedy as well. Whereas, Gero's absurdly dorky at times. Kinosaki's able to sort of play off of that. A good example being, again, the beer thing. This guy's so bad at social interactions. So they're having this little drinking party and everybody's together. Kinosaki's like undercover is like a server, and Gero's like has to do his introductions. And so he stands up and introduces himself and chugs down like I think like 8 drinks at the same time, like 4 and then 4, and then proceeds to puke it up. He proceeds to puke it up, but he like put like a solidifier or something inside of his gut so that when he yaks it up, it's like this big jelly worm, and he thinks that's gonna be cool. And no, Kinosaki's over there like, no, dude, no, it's so horrible, dude. That was a bad decision. He's a mess. He's a mess, and seeing sort of Kinosaki's reactions to it's so great. But I like it because Kinosaki is sort of again our view into somebody who was a con man. Like, he is technically a marriage swindler. Like, he gets with women or men and gets them to really like them and then takes their money and runs off. And so they're technically a bad person, but they're now using all that information, that knowledge, to help out Gero because Gero has saved their brother's life and is now protecting them. And so it's using all this information, which is good information. Like, they see, like, yeah, at some point realizing Gero is not doing very well just in dating apps because he can't even eat a meal in front of people because he has to make the meal himself because of how he was raised. Like, there's so much that's kind of holding him back. But they acknowledge that Gero was really cool when they saved my life and offered that to me and proposed to me and you know, whisked me away from all the people that want to kill me. Let's have him, you know, save some people's lives and protect people. It's not just about your base personality or your looks or whatever. Like, he has his own charm. Find that little special thing about him that people enjoy. And so going through all these different missions, that's happening. Like the first person, Himekawa. Himekawa is like a Robin Hood that steals from the, you know, the bad guys to give back to the people that are poor. And during that process, she thanks Gero. Thank you for helping us out. I know that you being a master and one of the top 5 families of masters, that's way expensive to hire you. Thanks for helping us out. Thanks for helping these dorks that were about to ready to sell their kidneys to save my life. Thanks for helping them out. That's finally kind of coming across. These two right here just sell the show for me. Now, yeah, technically these other characters they're introducing over time, I'm enjoying them as well. Himekawa is pretty solid, you know, seeing that she's this person that was being saved, but at the same time she's like, no, I'm good. I can protect myself, and I want to help you out as well. Sort of being similar to Gero in the idea of enjoying having people to finally praise them for their work, something that she was always doing in the background, kind of a Batman character. Himekawa is kind of a Batman character. And now we have, you know, Ureshino, and she's this daughter of the CEO, and how she's got her massive insecurities with socializing with people. She's trying to finally branch out. You know, with the passing of her father, she's trying to finally put herself out there and be social with people. Kind of similar to Gero in a way, but she's always has problems with like the flood of like phrases that she can possibly say in a moment. So she can't get the words out because there's all this other stuff that's wanting to get in the way. There's been a pretty good, you know, side cast of characters, but again, mostly my enjoyment is around Gero and Kinosaki's and their chemistry. Outside of all of that, though, the main premise of the story, it's fine to facilitate the interactions between Gero and Kinosaki. Not that I really think that the overall premise is that great. It's a good sort of premise to keep the characters flowing and trying out different encounters. The idea of different families and their own like mastery and, you know, having basically a mastery of the week. Suddenly, oh, here's a water master, and they have water, and now Gero's got to fight against water, and now we have a sound master, and they're blowing up things and mind controlling people. How is Gero going to overcome the sound master? That stuff is like, shrug. It's okay. It's okay. Again, it's not something that's got me at the edge of my seat waiting for the next reveal that's going to happen. Visually, the show looks really good. I really think Bones Films and the team is doing a very good job of the show. The action scenes are really solid. Not like some crazy stuff like, you know, Demon Slayer or anything like that, but it's just enough to make the action scenes a lot of fun. Character designs are fantastic. The reactions, the expressiveness of the characters, everything's just all on point. I've been really enjoying how good the show looks. Music's been phenomenal. Sound effects are great as well. Just overall, production quality is really solid. Anyways, that's my thoughts so far on Marriagetoxin. I'm really enjoying it so far. Again, most of it's around the main two casts and their chemistry, which honestly is pretty much most of the show. So as long as I can still keep that going and have them, you know, have different encounters to kind of force that chemistry out, I'm all for it. But at the same time, I'll say that the most of the overall story and everything that's happening around them is kind of like, okay, sure, whatever. There's our sound guy now, whatever. We'll see, though, if it kind of starts ramping up. But anyways, that's my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below. Until next time, y'all take care.